All right, we have the Washington County Commissioners here. We just got done with the July 1st meeting. So any big items on the agenda today? Anything noteworthy?
It was fairly standard stuff today, Chris. During the summer months, as you know, a lot of people travel, so we don't typically take up weighty issues today. We did pass the summer budget, which isn't the final budget, of course, but it does give us a baseline for where we're going to begin in the fall to look at the 2022 budget. So I guess that's probably the biggest thing we did today.
Okay. We had some more fair CARES Act contracts, right, for the broadband. Is that correct? Going to be expanding the internet here in Washington County?
That's correct. That's correct. I mean, and you can, of course, you know that that's been an initiative of ours. We want to make sure that we can be helpful and provide reliable broadband to all citizens in Washington County and help out in those areas where it's not good. So that's what this was a part of doing.
Okay, I don't have a whole lot more for you guys. If there's anything else you want to bring up, there's just one last order that I would like to ask you guys about.
Okay.
All right. So Mr. Gold showed up and he brought up an interesting topic, and this is a conversation that's ongoing in the county as long as I can remember, honestly. It's people leaving the area. Not enough for young people to do, and there being people graduating from high school moving out of the area. And I thought that was an interesting conversation, and I wanted to get your take on it.
I mean, if you don't mind me addressing this, in my opinion, one of the things that I look at, and I'm from the Beverly area, which is on the western side of the county, I think one of the things to think about is young people nowadays, I think they are starting to realize the value of living in Southeast Ohio and Washington County, and I've heard this firsthand. Okay, I'm not in total agreement with that concept of there's nothing to do here. Okay, because I think when you look at our overall national climate and what's going on out there right now, there's young people that's my son's age. My oldest son is 19 years old. His classmates, same age, of course, class of 2020. I've heard many of them say after their freshman year in college, where they go out to these urban areas and these bigger cities and they understand what that climate is and start to learn about that climate and how things work from a political standpoint. A lot of them will tell you, I didn't realize how nice it was to live in Washington County in Southeast Ohio. I'm ready to come back for the summer. If there's a job there, when I graduate from college, I will be looking for it. I'll be trying to get that job. So when you want to talk about focus, you want to talk about something that really motivates me. It motivates me to be able to help bring jobs and economic development to this county so that those young people have options whenever they do graduate. They are starting to understand the value. Okay, people our age that are middle-aged, okay, we're starting to understand that. Our parents, the older generation, they understand that. But now the young people, I'm hearing it from them. And that's important. So travel and tourism is big. We need to help with that, but jobs is a big thing in economic development.
And Chris, I didn't say this in the meeting, but my wife and I moved to Washington County roughly 20 years ago. And one of the first things we were asked to do, I think it was by the Convention and Visitors Bureau, was to work with them in developing a video that they would market mostly on the East Coast in cities like New York and Washington, D.C., to encourage professionals to move to this area. So this isn't a new discussion. This is something that's been going on for at least 2 decades. We were both professionals. We decided to move to this area for a variety of reasons. The cost of living here was incredibly low in comparison to some of the cities that we looked to move to. But I'll tell you, the single most important deciding factor for us was the people. When we were looking at places to live around the country, the people here in Washington County just spoke to us differently. They welcomed us. They went out of their way to do things for us in looking up information, providing us with information as a young couple looking at moving to this area. That hasn't changed. There is something about the folks that live in this valley that's different from anywhere else. And if young people don't recognize that when they're leaving high school, going off to college, as Commissioner Schilling said, by the time they finish college, they recognize that, and many of them are in fact coming back to this area for that very reason.
And I can speak to these fact, I've lived in Winston-Salem, I've lived down near Atlanta, I've been in some big cities and had the opportunity to stay, work professionally, and raise a family there. That was not a choice that I was going to make or stay there. Commissioner Ritter, Commissioner Schilling are 100% right. And I would challenge people. One of the reasons that broadband is so important is because folks want to look on Facebook and see what's going on. But I challenge people to go find out for themselves. You go to that fire social, you go to your local events, and you get out and you know your neighbors, and you get back to your old-fashioned values that really matter. And I think we all kind of agree on that. There's not anything new or flashy that's going to come that's all of a sudden there's going to be something new to do. So for instance, one of the fire socials, and we have an upcoming event to where there's going to be an old-fashioned dilly dunker. Now that's just good fun. That's just fun. In some a wiffle ball game, or going out to the county home and exploring that carnival that's coming up. Those are things to do. Those are real things to do. And also with Wayne National Forest, going out and hiking. I challenge everybody to get out of the house to do things. Washington County is a very nice area. Commissioner Ritter and his wife found out so. I've grown up here. Commissioner Schilling grew up here. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot.
I think one thing that I'll add just real briefly is to think about when it comes to companies looking at Washington County and Southeast Ohio. I think the one thing that they realize is there's a work ethic here with the individuals that live here that's unmatched. I truly believe that. I truly believe that the work ethic here provides a great sense of let's get this done. Let's have that kind of attitude to get this done. Let's work hard for the company that comes in here and invests in Washington County. And we have that here. That's proven, and I think that helps out also.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.